And welcome back to Flow Sports Fix, and joining me from Baseball Australia, always great to be chatting to him, we've got David Penrose. G'day, David. Mate, how are you today?
Yeah, going very, very well. Good to be back.
It is great to be chatting to you again. Just before we start, I was watching a great game on the weekend. There was this team from New York playing this team from Detroit, and the team from New York got 10 runs, and I think 8 of them came from big homers. I'm not sure if you witnessed that game at all.
Fortunately, I was very, very busy on the weekend, so I didn't catch a lot of the Major League Baseball action, but did see quite a few notifications of runs being scored coming through on my phone, and unfortunately not a lot of them were for my team, the Detroit Tigers.
It's all right, mate. My team, the New York Yankees, they sent me footage of it, so I will email it to you so you can watch the game so you won't miss out. So don't worry. I've looked after you, David. Looked after you. I look after my friends.
That's good. If you ever need a team to play you into form, it's probably Detroit. So that's definitely helped the Yankee season.
Yes. All right, on to other things. And there was a women's showcase with baseball recently. So what happened with that and how did it go?
Absolutely. So on the weekend, the Australian Women's Baseball Showcase in Adelaide, which was a fantastic event, featuring the best female talent from across the country, representing both Adelaide Giants and Brisbane Bandits. And it's been a long time coming, even just in the recent memory, with a few postponements, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19. So these games were meant to take place as early as the first month of the year, a couple of weekends in Adelaide and Brisbane in January, and got postponed then due to COVID breakouts in Brisbane, and then again in Melbourne in February, and then again more recently when they were meant to be played in Adelaide and Brisbane again when Queensland had another outbreak. So it was fantastic for it to happen. And this is a step towards a professional women's league in this country. And the standard, the quality was excellent, considering some of the girls, their club ball seasons have wrapped up, and they hadn't been playing at competitive level for a few weeks. And both four games, and they were split right down the middle, 2 wins each for Adelaide and Brisbane.
Well, Madison Heath seemed to do all right, hitting a grand slam.
Yes, that was the thing. There was plenty of balls flying out. The Brisbane Bandits are known for it in the men's ABL. They hit some home runs with the short fences up at Holloway Field, but it came down to West Beach, the women did, and combined for 10 homers. I think it was 7 Brisbane's way and 3 to Adelaide, but the quality of these girls is just immense. They've got more athletic prowess in their little finger than I do in my whole body. I think some of the defensive plays, I think even from the first out that Madison Tabret recorded for the Adelaide Giants, nice throw across the diamond from third base, and straight away it was these girls were here to play, and they continued that throughout the weekend. And important for them to get that opportunity, but also in the bigger scheme, obviously it's been a long time since women's baseball in this country has been played at a national sort of level, with a couple of national championships unfortunately being cancelled due to COVID, and also the Women's World Cup as well that was scheduled for last year. Now, David, something that sort of just indefinitely has been put off at the moment.
You mentioned there about the Women's Professional League. So is that, we've talked about it in the past, so is that going ahead?
Very much so. So unfortunately it's one of those things that has kind of been put on the sideline for a little bit through COVID, like everything. A lot of sports have been tested through this period, and for us, as a smaller sport, focusing on what we have in front of us and already on our plate is important, and consolidating that before we start adding anything else to the program. But in the second half of this year, into the new financial year, that's certainly the aim, to have this professional women's league launch. So the work has been done behind the scenes. It's just a really important one that when we do it right, because there's no point having it for a year or two and it crumbling. It needs to be something that's sustainable and lasts for a long duration, and gives these girls the opportunity to shine. And that was the really, really exciting thing on the weekend. It wasn't just the smiles of the women out there playing. It was the girls on the sideline that, up in the stands, that were watching this and got down there, and hungry autograph hunters after the game, getting the girls to sign whatever they had, and the smiles on their faces as well. So this isn't just about the present and the girls that are in the sport now. It's very much about those future generations as well.
Absolutely right. And those little kids, when they get the autograph from their hero, whether it's on a baseball or a piece of paper, it stays with them forever. So that's brilliant. And that's now the competition. It'll be 4 teams. And will there be any will it be like with the men and the ladies playing together? Will there be any of that, or is it going to be as a separate thing? What's going to be the structure for it?
Yeah, so that's one that's been up in the air a little bit as to, having a standalone window where they get an opportunity to shine on their own, but also having that cross-promotion with the men's competition and being able to package that up and, help across the board in growing the crowds, not just for the women's, obviously starting from scratch, but for the men's competition that, teams are very hungry to grow those crowds and get more people interested in our sport. So it will ultimately sort of depend a little bit happening behind the scenes with a couple of ABL licenses changing hands, including Canberra, who have one of those provisional licenses, the fourth provisional license for the Women's League. So a few new heads, brains that are in there involved in those discussions now. So it sort of was looking previously like there would be a couple of weeks of the season overlapping with the men's competition.
Well, I'd love to go along and see the girls play and then the guys play. I think it would be absolutely great. But whichever case, watching the girls play, they are absolutely amazing, and you realise how very talented they are, as you mentioned before. Now, the other thing to point out is the Little League World Series. Australia usually has a team involved, but not last year, obviously. Is it going to happen this year? What's the situation?
Yeah, so we talked about the smiles on the faces of the girls and Little League baseball. If you want smiles on the faces of the baseball players, Little League is where it's at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, denied the opportunity in 2020 for Australia region to go across not just the Little League World Series, but also intermediate, junior and senior. And unfortunately, it's going to be the case again that the Australia region will have to sit out, with Little League International announcing the decision earlier this week that they're just going to have the one World Series, so the Little League one, which is the flagship one, and it will feature US teams only. So, it's a tough one, but it's working in our favour, or some silver lining there is that Australia is having its national championships this year, which also got cancelled last year. So whilst there won't be a ticket to the 4 World Series events on the line, we've still got 4 national championships coming up starting on Saturday that are going to be fantastic. And again, after a long layoff at national level, in terms of the Little League program, really, really exciting to have those events back again.
So the first one's this weekend. What one's that?
Yeah, so we get underway in Lismore with Senior League. So it will feature 8 teams, including Adelaide Armada from South Australia, who have previously won it and did get to go over to South Leasley in North Carolina for their World Series back in 2017. So 8-team competition, and then we'll return to Adelaide for the Australian Junior League Championships. They get underway on the 15th, and then we'll have Intermediate League over in Mildura, which is great. That's the second time we're heading back over there, so that's going to feature 8 teams, and then a little break before getting underway in the second week of June for the Little League Championship, and that's back in Lismore again. And that's actually really exciting this year that it's going to feature a second division for the first time. So 12 teams in Division 1 in the major division and 7 in Division 2. So giving more opportunity to that young talent to shine on a national level and play against some different opponents to what they would in their own state.
And hopefully see some young stars that eventually will be watching wearing Yankee pinstripes. Yes.
Well, yes. We've had a couple of the players that have gone through, and Curtis Mead was part of the Little League program and was part of that Adelaide Armada Senior League win that I spoke about a moment ago. And he's now a member of the Rays organisation. And Jake Burns from New South Wales is about to embark on his first minor league season, and he's represented Australia region at just about every level of the Little League pyramid. He actually missed the Senior League World Series only through having to represent Australia at the World Cup. So having clashing events there. But starting to see some of those players come through that program and start to make a name for themselves professionally.
Well, we certainly look forward to hearing those names in the future. Now, just before we go, David, just a couple little things. I read this week that back on, I think it was Wednesday, May the 5th, so yesterday, back in 1904, baseball's first perfect game happened when Denton T. Cy Young, he pitched the very first perfect game, not allowing a single opposing player to reach first base. There's only been about, I think, 27 in Major League Baseball history. history. Now, it just made me wonder, has there been anything, or even a no-hitter, has anything like this happened in the ABL or in baseball in Australia? Have you any immediate knowledge? So sorry to put you on the spot with this, but I'm just wondering.
Yes, well, I mean, the name's familiar there. The year 1904, not so familiar. I'd have to dig through Wikipedia, I think, to find some information on what happened in that year. But in Australian baseball, definitely in the Australian Baseball League through my lifetime, it's been a pretty offensive sort of league. A lot of runs scored and not so many strong, long pitching outings. So can't remember any perfect games. I do remember David Welsh from New South Wales for the Sydney Blue Sox in the first year of the current ABL throwing a no-hitter in a final of all games. So
wow.
Nothing throughout the regular season, and then he just dominated against the Van Adelaide Bite in the first game. But and then back in the old ABL, there was about 7 of them no-hitters. So, but obviously some of them probably ones that would be not deemed official by Major League Baseball, with quite a few of those games played as double-headers and 7-inning games. So, it's very few and far between the perfect game, and not one that I have in the Baseball Australia record books for the Australian Baseball League, at least.
Wow. Well, I'm sure there might have been something in the old days, but yeah, we'll have to find out. And also, I noticed that the minor leagues are starting up, so there are some Aussies that are competing in that, and it's too early to give us a highlight from them, but do you know how many are roughly going in the minor leagues at the moment, many Aussies?
Yeah, so the first 4 levels of minor league baseball getting in the way, very revamped looking minor league baseball heading into this season after some changes at the top there, but just under a dozen have got underway already, and then a lot of our young kids that are either heading over for their first or second season will get underway in coming weeks. They're over there just going through extended spring training at the moment, getting their preparations underway. So once all of them are underway, it will be nudging close to 25 to 30 it will be. Wow. So which is really exciting. As I said, quite a few of them heading over for their first or second season, and in several instances some of them got over there last season before COVID hit, but didn't get to play a game at all. So really looking forward to seeing what they can produce over there. As
am I. So we'll have to have a chat in a few weeks to see how they're doing, and also keep up to date with you how things are going with the Women's League as well, starting up later in the year. All right, David, it's been great chatting to you again. Always look forward to it. Any more information we want to know about Australian baseball, we can go to the website baseball.com.au, and it's always good having a chat to you, and it was great watching the Yankees beat the Tigers the other day, mate. It was absolutely wonderful.
I would say I'll pull up the replay, but I would be lying. So we'll get you next time.
Thanks, David. We'll catch you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.